What's going on, everybody? Recap time. Let's get into it. What happened today? Well, if you missed it and you missed the last video, I'm going to link it in the description below. It'll say prior video. It'll take you exactly to the spot about 11 minutes into the video of the prediction on what we called today and what would happen. So we have been targeting all the way back up to the 50 SMA daily for today. And again, check the video and for why. And we had a couple different instances for this here and the run up. So first, we're going to talk about what happened on the little longer standing time frames here, just for the recap. We had another wonderful green day here. So we have some unique weekly Fibonacci points, right? And I said two things are going to happen until we break out of the range of the 30-30, okay? And on SPY, we have this 438 and a quarter, pretty much. Now we're on the 30-30. We're waiting for the 200 SMA to confirm strength. That's our peach dash line right here. That's your weight. So we broke over, hit confirm, the lower high scam, trying to assume that we were going to go down. Not a chance. We were still being bullish, as we said all last week as well, coming down into the reversal point. And what happened for the day? Well, 50 went for a no cross as well. So we like to watch the 50 SMA over the 100 EMA and went for a false cross there. No click and just did a force up, which is anticipated. Now, we used a couple different fib systems from here, moving on, and divergences in our oscillation indicators, which we always do. And let's get into some of those on SPY and go see what they look like on the futures. So right now, look at the oscillation. Small cell wave, higher lows here. RSI, higher low here. MAC, all in the 30-30. So we have 1, 2, and 3 indicators, golden, 3 out of 3, working for us to the upside. Now, pressure push all the way up, and as expected, NVIDIA kind of blowing out of there. That could have did really anything, but the period in which where we're at right now in the market wasn't going to go quietly into the night, right? So I'm going to take these off. And in the last video, my prediction, I said 444. And in my target this morning, 4444 on ES. All we had to do is hold this zone. And what I did, I just went through the oscillations on SPY. They're going to be identical to ES here. So what I did on the 30-30 is we had this interesting wick zone. So you see this light channel. In the pre-market breakdown, we went through with my group here as we live trade every morning, mostly with our team. This zone right here in the 30-30 had to break above, right? So if you're looking at this indecision zone, it's pretty amazing. So we got all these wick rejections here, the 30, and then wick support to the 30. And that's a very interesting zone. I just did not want to fall too much lower than that. And we are coming off of a golden hit. I'm going to remove this fan so we can see it a little easier. But we did call all the way up there in that fan as well. So 4411, that is the 3820 golden fib I've been using on ES. And we already hit the 50 right down here. And this is the 50 golden level at 43.5777-ish area. Boom. So that's support. Now, with those two Fibonacci's in play, we had already hit a golden pocket. So all we had to do is maintain above the 3820. And we were going to go to the 4444 end of the day target. Now, this little rally afterwards is obviously NVIDIA, and that's not something that you could have speculated, but the speculate run up saying anything over 4411, and this is what we called this morning, anything over this right here holds the 200 SMA, gives you confirmations on all oscillation like we just did on SPY, will net you a breakout to the Fibonacci 4444. Okay, that is our 1618 on a hidden Fibonacci system. And I can't really explain that to most of the public, but if you get into our group, I'd love to explain it to you there. And what this system does is it once it creates the support of the golden pocket, 38 or 61.8 to the 50, doesn't matter which one it's at, we have a beautiful higher low structure. And then of course you can even look at the oscillations here if you want. All the divergences were very clear here. Small wave, higher low RSI. It's going to look identical to the SPY that we went over. And that was it. Now, what does that bring? Well, our target being the 50 SMA daily, this was our entire target from the prediction video. Please give it a shout and a check and a watch if you didn't. And we are hitting that right meow, right? So we're going to open up probably another gap up and push. Now, mind you, end all be all, I will repeat some of the targets right here so you don't have to go through the back and watch the other video. But this was our target, 50 SMA daily. We are into that right now. Let's target number 1. Target number 2, best case scenario, is a rip rally back up towards over this trend line. Now, we have a very strong mathematical equation of time cycle that's going to be helping us with this next push. So if we hold up to the 50 SMA gap and go, we hold the 50 SMA as support and it pushes back up, we're going to be back testing this trend. And in scenario 2, that we went over, a tag right here of this no fill gap. This is a non-fill. There is a wide open gap above us. Now, remember in our prior videos, we also said the VIX gap could be filled before anything catastrophic happens as well. I'll go over that in a second. But these two scenarios will be breaking back up to 444.69. That is something we also mentioned on the SPY because that is our weekly retracing of the engulfing candle. So as long as we hold the 100 fib, 436.47, we will continue to fill the body of last week's candle and get there. And we are there right now. Filled it after hours perfectly, and NVIDIA was the cause. Now, if we hold a gap up here, it holds above, like we said, anything above 444.69, that will push us hopefully into the trend. And then best case scenario, we get up to that no fill gap, tag it, and then a week or two of longs, I don't care what it does, but then we're going to cycle in the midst of September and still look for that volatile pullback into middle September, early September. So the rally, rip rally, which we have called, watch these prior videos to the T here, and it worked out very well. We shied the 100 EMA, and I went over exactly what to look for and why in that prediction video. And once that 100 EMA right here on the green was shied, we were going to push back up, find a lower high, and most likely crash back down to 431.40 area, or a little earlier now that we have the 100 EMA over that. But we are going to continue this rally for the next couple weeks, most likely, or at least week and a half until she gets confirmation over under this trend line right here. Now, the VIX gap that I was talking about, if you missed the other videos and wanted to check out, we said this gap will statistically usually fill before anything crazy happens on the markets. And our 18 and some change target on our trend lines were hit and reversed. So our target for the VIX was right here where the neon green and orange trends are for the VIX's top. And once it hit those trends, we were going to come back down, and we had an opportunity to fill this gap that is still wide open. And that gap has to be filled before the VIX has an opportunity to create more volatility, and that's 9 out of 10 what happens. In the prior video, I'm not going to go over it again, but we go over a bunch of sequences where that gap is wide open and held open on instances across the board here, and it does not fare very well for the upside. So just looking at the gap ups, they usually sell. Gap ups usually sell. Gap ups, that was a common gap. Gap up, fail. They don't like doing the rip rally unless it's closed, right? So you know that little March instance right here where you pop back up, opened in a gap, came back down, filled it, and had a couple days worth of runners and spiked up with real volatility. That's because there was no gap left. Now, the VIX just does not like leaving those. Once in a great while, you'll get one, sure. But right now in this scenario, we are very adamant on either seeing the VIX gap fill first, or it had to break out above 1820s to 1850s on the VIX, and that was going to be near impossible with the oscillation where everything is at right now. It just wasn't having it. It's double topped on the RSI, it's smoothed over. Last couple of days, we're already draining from our target longs, and now we do have an opportunity to stay under the 16 level as we keep rallying to the fill here. And that's when the algos can usually reset and provide a bounce, and we'll have to see from there. But continuation on the long, and that is it. I hope that recap is short, sweet, and to the point, and stay tuned for the next.